Been enjoying the heat wave? Well, it'll be red hot at Portman Road where we begin today's action. In fact, we have two red hot blockbusting games, both with a bearing on the outcome of the title and those playoff places. Later on, we'll be at the Madejski Stadium as Reading and Nottingham Forest turn up the temperature in the top six. It's fourth against fifth in that one. But first, it's Ipswich aiming to gatecrash the playoff party by taking on newly promoted Portsmouth, who now want that title. And the Ipswich fans believe they can get promotion if they can get into the top six. Portsmouth already into the Premiership, but they want that title. It's a top of the table clash in the Football League here on Sky Sports, and with me is George Burley, the architect of so many great days at Ipswich, now the interim manager at Derby County. Welcome, George. And already in East Anglia they're talking about Derby County against Ipswich, last game of the season. Yes, it's one whatever, but there's a lot to play for today. When you look at Portsmouth going for the Championship, they've done magnificently well to gain promotion, and Ipswich's got everything to play for. Ipswich and Norwich are really chasing that pack for the playoff position, so I think it's going to be a cracking game. But one thing for sure, you know that both sides are going to get the ball down and knock it about on the floor. Two very talented squads, so I think it'll be a cracking game to watch. And your position at Derby County, that's on a day-to-day, week-to-week basis, is it, George? That's right, yes. Yeah, so we'll talk about that maybe later on. But let's have a look at the team news first of all. And Ipswich, you know all about them. There's no Richard Naylor in the Ipswich team. Yeah, Richard's, he's been a centre-forward all his life, and Joe's moved him to the back, and he's done very well. But he's out injured, so I would expect a 4-4-2 formation here. With the wing, with the wide players joining in. Martin Russo back in the side, he'll give them the width. But when you look at, there's a lot of talented players there. Matt Holland and Jim Magilton will be He's not playing in the back four, Matt Holland, he's playing in midfield again. He's playing midfield. Matt Holland and Jim Magilton, they'll be key for Ipswich today. Matt will be trying to look after Paul Merson. Jim Magilton will get on the ball and pass it for him. The two lads up front, Marcus Bed and Pablo Canago, have been outstanding of late, and I'm sure that they'll give Portsmouth problems. Let's look at Portsmouth then. They play the same team which got them promotion with that Todorov goal against Burnley. They play a different system, George. Yeah, well Harry likes the back three. At West Ham he likes to play that way, and they've done that all season. And to be fair, they do it very well. They push the wing backs, quite high up the position in the park. They like to get Sherwood and Kwasi on the ball in midfield. Merson is top class. I mean, he's got great ability. Give him half a chance, he'll score. He can see things, he can create things. So it's going to be an interesting battle in midfield, because both teams like to play it through midfield. So it's the one that comes out in top in that position, I think will win the match. A clash of styles certainly, and at the top of the table it means exactly this, George. Now, Ipswich just outside, so are Norwich. Can both of those teams from East Anglia get into the playoff positions? I think it'd be unlikely both, but when you look at the fixtures, Ipswich and Norwich have got a good run in. They don't really play against many of the top six teams. Ipswich today is a big game. I think Norwich play Wolves on Monday, and apart from that they're playing from teams lower down the league. So it's possible. Today's key for Ipswich. If they win today, get the 3 points, it can take them just behind Wolves and Nottingham Forest, and they would have a great chance then to finish in the top six. Now Marcus Bent, you know all about him. He came from Blackburn Rovers, £2.75 million. It's his sixth club at Ipswich, but he's been a success there, would you say? Yeah, I mean, when he first came in the Premiership, I think he scored 11 goals and in half a season, and did very well. His form's been a little bit up and down this season, but there's no doubt he's got great qualities. He's got everything he needs for a centre forward, but it's doing it in a regular basis. But he's quick, he's strong, he can score goals, and on his day he's a handful for any defence. And he's still only 24 years old. Yeah, you say it's amazing having six clubs, but he's maturing, and I think he'll get better. You can see that he's a very good finisher, especially on his right side. He's got great pace, running short and over the top. He's a handful, and as I said, even in the Premiership he did very well. So today I think Portsmouth defence will have to be wary of his pace. He's certainly a goal scorer, isn't he? And Joe Royle's been saying lately he's been more than happy with the partnership between Marcus Bent and Pablo Cunyago.
Yeah, well, Pablo has played, every level up to under 21 for Spain. I got him on a free transfer from Celta Vigo. I knew it would take time to settle. Last season, the Premiership, he found his way, but I think he scored 13, 14 goals this season. He's great with his back to goals, great hold-up play. He loves to turn people with his body, and really he's proven, a top-class player, in the First Division. And I think he's only going to get better and better.
Yeah, he's only 23 as well, isn't he? Top scorer this season. We're taking one off, 14 in some publications, but we're only giving him 13. One at Gillingham is not going to count for him, but it's not a bad return still, and he's scoring more regularly now for Ipswich.
Yes, I mean, I think most players from abroad take time to settle, especially when you're a young player. But there's no doubt the boy's got quality. As I say, he's got great link play, he's tenacious, he's strong, and now he's getting his tap-ins. That was a little thing in his game. He never used to get many tap-ins, but now he's falling things in and getting his fair share of goals.
OK, no word from Joe Royle before the game. He wants to spend more time with his players before the start of the big game, but no such worries for Harry Redknapp. He's happy to talk to our reporter David Craig.
Harry, obviously, first of all, congratulations. The games are coming thick and fast, and another vital one tonight because you're championship chasing now.
Yeah, I mean, we've gone this far. I just said to the players in there, we've done the first part of the job, and obviously the most important part to get promoted. But to win the championship now would be fantastic, because I think they deserve it. I think we've been up there all year, and Leicester also, they've chased us. They've had a great season. But I think I'd love to see the players get the championship medals that they deserve this year. And today is a massive game because these are a good side, Ipswich. I mean, they've come with a late run. They're on the edge of the playoff places, but it'll be a hard game. I thought that was probably the best side we played at our place this season.
They'll obviously be hoping to catch you still celebrating after Tuesday night. That won't be the case, I'm sure.
No, I think the lads had a good night. I think they threw most of the champagne over each other rather than drinking it, so that wasn't a problem. We've all been back in training for a couple of days since then, and I think they've all got their minds on trying to win the league if we possibly can.
And just finally, I mean, 4 games to go. Are you going to do it? That's what the fans want to know.
Well, we're going to try. I mean, tough games, today, Reading Monday at home, Rotherham at home, decent, Bradford. They're not easy games, but Leicester's got tough games as well, and if we can pick something up today, it'll go a long way to getting us here.
Harry, thanks.
Thank you.
Well, it was a great day on Tuesday. It was 9:19 p.m. when they got promotion on Tuesday, the 15th of April. A Todorov goal for Portsmouth. He's been good for them all season, George, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's scored on a regular basis. All credit to Portsmouth. They've really been top of the league from start to finish. You need a goal scorer, and he's been there, regular scoring for them. He didn't quite, do it at West Ham, but Harry must have seen his qualities, and that's why he took him to Portsmouth.
The fans have been fantastic, haven't they?
They've been like that ever since I went to Portsmouth. The noise they make is incredible, and now they've got something to cheer about. But they are fantastic, fans, and as I say, the amount of noise they make is, is great.
They could do with a new stadium, but maybe that'll come along in the near future for them. And Todorov, 20 goals this season for him. What kind of striker is he then, George?
Yeah, he's a poacher, really. I mean, I haven't seen a lot of him, but he's one of these. He seems to be in the right place to get his tap-ins, which is so important, as I said, for a striker. So, he's one. He's more of a box player. So around the box, that's where he comes alive, and he's liable just to get his little tap-ins.
The first one we can see there since Guy Whittingham to get 20 plus goals for Portsmouth, 31 caps for Bulgaria. It's the kind of thing he does, George.
Yeah, as I say, in the 6-yard box again, he gets his little nicks, his little touches, he anticipates things well, and he ends up finishing. So that's top class. Whether, once you step up a grade, you might find it more difficult, but he's in there all the time in that 6-yard box for his tap-ins, and he's 20 goals speaks for itself. He's not bad at jumping in the crowd either. He
got booked for that, I think. Well, so he should, I suppose. No, it's ridiculous, isn't it, getting booked for celebrating like that, really, but there you go. Paul Merson is his architect, if you like, of many of his goals, and he's been fantastic at this level, George, hasn't he?
Yeah, I mean, Paul's been a world-class player right through his career, but he's always had that enthusiasm and passion to keep playing. In the First Division, he sticks out. His vision, his control, he gets his fair share of goals. So as I say, today is going to be very important, for Ipswich, if they can stop him playing, because he's very difficult, because he creates his own space. He's very intelligent, and he can score goals. So he is a top-class player, and he brings other people into the game so well.
Okay, crowd building up to its capacity of 30,000 at Portman Road. You know about these kind of days, don't you, George? The crowd's very important.
Yeah, very important. I mean, Ipswich are used to getting, playoffs. When I was there, we had 4 playoffs, but the crowd's magnificent. I mean, all season they've averaged 25, 26,000. I think 6-7 years ago it was 11,000. So it shows you how much it's built up. Great fans, and they'll be right behind the team, and they'll give them full encouragement from start to finish.
Well, there's a man you've praised over the years. A captain, fantastic, Matt Holland. What a leader he is.
Yeah, well, tremendous on and off the field. 4.5 years, he's never missed a game. He is captain, fantastic. Man.
And Paul Merson opposite to him. What a game this promises to be. Let's join our commentators, Chris Kamara and Ian Crocker.
Thank you, George. The Football League's Easter weekend starts here. Hold on tight, it's going to be some ride. A weekend that will go a long way towards sorting the men from the boys, the winners from the losers, and the ups from the downs. Portman Road is, like so many grounds will be nationwide this weekend, awash with passion, brimming with tension. There are a few nerves to be frayed yet, and a few nails to be bitten yet, as destinies are decided.
Just look at this atmosphere. Absolutely fabulous, fantastic. Portsmouth deserve everything they get for their promotion, and Ipswich, we want you in those playoffs.
A packed house of just under 30,000, an astonishing atmosphere in not-so-sleepy Suffolk. Well, striker turned defender Richard Naylor misses out with a twisted knee, and with John McGreal and Mark Venus also sidelined. Joe Royle is a little short of players at the back. He's resisted the temptation to play Matt Holland there, and so switches to a 4-4-2 formation. Martin Roycer, who did his bit in Ipswich's last playoff campaign 3 years ago, comes into the starting lineup. Darren Bent is still absent with a hamstring problem, but Marcus Bent and Pablo Cunyago are both in form and amongst the goals.
Well, Joe Royle's no stranger to playing 4-4-2 system. He loves to talk to the players about how he wants them to do it. But when you do look at that back line, you think there is a chance for Portsmouth in there. Gartso and Makin, the 2 central defenders, maybe Makin's a makeshift in there. Richards and Vilnius will try to get forward as much as they can. You get into the midfield then. Miller loves to play centre midfield. Magilton can only play centre midfield. Holland loves to play in that position. That's the position he loves to get forward from. And Roycer occasionally will play out there, but likes to come inside. So we know that they're going to have to keep that ball on the ground. Up front, Marcus Bent, on his day, he's as good as any centre forward in the country. And Pablo Cunyago is a wonderful finisher.
It is same again for promoted Pompey, still no Yakubu or Matt Taylor, and both are big losses. Gianluca Festa fills Taylor's position at left wing back, and Lee Bradbury, recalled from a loan spell at Sheffield Wednesday, partners 20 goals, Svetoslav Todorov up front. 9 of the starting 11 have played in the Premiership before. There is vast experience in the ranks, but this team was still thrown together, and to do what they've done is a considerable achievement.
Well, I speak to a lot of managers and they say it's very difficult to get promotion playing this system, playing this way, without real width, but Portsmouth have done it and they deserve a round of applause for that. Look at the back line, Primus, Fox and Dazoo, they've played most of the season between them, being strong and positive. Sherwood's come into that midfield and added even more pattern alongside Kwasi and Merson. Festa normally plays in the centre of that defence. Stone will get forward on the right hand side, but up front Todorov has been a revelation since he left West Ham, and all of a sudden Lee Bradbury has an opportunity to leave his mark at Portsmouth.
Well, the likes of Herman Hreidarsson, Darren Ambrose and Jamie Clapham may have had to leave Ipswich, but at least skipper Matt Holland is still around, for the time being at least. Well, it's fitting that Svetoslav Todorov should have scored the goal that clinched promotion, and in doing so he became the first Pompey player to score 20 in a season since Guy Whittingham a decade ago. The sun is shining, it is a glorious evening, and it could be a glorious match. Portsmouth have already made it to the Premiership. Ipswich would love to join them, but they're going to have to take the long way around. The problem immediately for Fabian Wilness, but he deals with the threat from Bradbury. Now Nigel Quasi. Gianluca Festa, just caught by Cunyago. Him and Marcus Bent have been in fabulous form of late. Oh, it's going to be a foolish yellow card here. Festa.
Well, he did kick the ball away, but I think Eddie Wilson will just have a word. It's the first few seconds of the game. You know, he's hardly wasting any time. There's another 89 minutes to go, plus. But I suppose the rules are the rules.
Well, it was a bit harsh on Gianluca Festa, but he has to tread carefully for those 89 minutes now. Here is Matt Holland. And now Matt Richards, who has taken over the left back or left wing back berth sometimes, since Jamie Clapham left, and of course Herman Hreidarsson, who sometimes played out there as well.
Well, to lose the central defenders, very, very difficult, especially when it's a game you need to win and you know that you're coming up against one of the best goal scorers in the First Division in Todorov.
Well, there have been 13 goals in the last two matches involving Ipswich, a 4-2 win at Coventry and a 4-3 defeat to Forest. In fact, only Portsmouth and Nottingham Forest have scored more than Ipswich in the First Division this season, but the Suffolk side have sure leaked a few as well. Tim Sherwood hooking that away. Merson was caught. Sherwood to the rescue. Ipswich showing that they mean business. There'll be no easy ride for the newly promoted side here.
Well, the thing is, Portsmouth play like to get it down and pass it, so Ipswich know that they've got a chance of trying to nick that ball if they're very, very sharp.
It's aimed towards Marcus Bent.
That's a terrific free kick. The problem with Marcus Bent is he gets up just too early for this ball as it comes across. Watch Magilton, he's spotted his run already, he's on his way, and then watch the leap, it's just too early, he's on his way down when he heads it.
6 goals in his last 7 games. No club has made it to the First Division playoffs more often than Ipswich. It is familiar territory. It gave them a passage to the Premiership in 2000, and they are hoping to find that route again in 2003. Richards' header. Oh, it's going to come through to Cunyago. An early chance for Ipswich, and Cunyago not far off target.
Well, I'll tell you what happens. Shaka Islov slips inside the 6-yard box. His feet just go away from him. So all of a sudden, an innocuous shot that he doesn't really hit well, Cunyago, could find its way into the corner. Watch Shaka just move his legs. There's the slip. He thinks it's going past him, but it goes past the post.
Well, there's Joe Royle and Harry Redknapp next to their respective chairman, David Sheepshanks and Milan Mandaric. Always better to sit next to your chairman rather than in front of him, perhaps.
Especially if it's 0-0.
Portsmouth promotion to the Premiership guaranteed, but there is still a title to be won, and Leicester City are pushing them all the way in that respect. And of course, Pompey, having been top for so long this season, won't want to let it go. Makin was grappling with Todorov. Here's Bradbury, caught by Gardso. Tim Sherwood, who used to play for Norwich, hence he's getting booed by the Ipswich fans, who won't let him forget the fact.
But what they're doing, Ipswich, is they're just getting their 2 banks of 4, making themselves very, very solid. Let Portsmouth have it in their own half, and then try to play through us. And as soon as it's played into midfield, Holland snapping, Magilton snapping, Tommy Miller just comes in off that wide. He's not really going to play on this right-hand side. He's picking up Quasi in the centre of that midfield, and Joe's looking down at the situation now, and everybody doing their jobs. So far, so good.
Magilton for Wilness. Miller, and it was read by Ariane Dazou. Sherwood. It's Fester who's filling the role that is usually occupied by Matt Taylor, who's had an operation on his heel.
He's going to be the player that's free. Miller pushes into Mark Quasi. He's going to be the outlet, Fester.
Svetoslav Todorov with 20 goals this season. That wasn't too close to becoming number 21.
Well, when you've scored as many goals he has in England for the first ever time, you think anything you do will turn to gold, but not on that occasion.
As we mentioned, Todorov, the first Pompey player since Guy Whittingham to score 20 in a season. That was a decade ago, and Guy actually got 42 that season, so only another 22 for Todorov to go.
In 4 games.
Sherwood. Bradbury chasing. Gardso aware of the fact. Envoy Primus has been another star this season for Portsmouth, and probably an unexpected star. Had certain players not been injured, I doubt very much if he would have been a regular in the team, but he has been that. Bradbury, well, it's a fairy tale return to Portsmouth really for him because of injuries. Yakubu sidelined at the moment, so Bradbury recalled from a loan spell at Sheffield Wednesday. He's a big Pompey fan actually.
He is, but this fella put him in the team, and that was a big decision. He's got Vincent Pericard, who's on the bench. He could have moved Paul Merson up front, just alongside Todorov, but he chose to put Bradbury in there, and it's worked wonders for him.
Wilness, onside, Cunyago. Now Magilton. Royce is the man in the middle, but it's going to be an easy take, well fairly easy anyway for Shaka Hislop.
Very easy, no probs. But just look at them all the time. As soon as the goalkeeper gets it, roll it out to a player, waiting to receive it, and they're on their way again.
Sherwood. Stone sends it across to Fester. Steve Stone, not wanted by Aston Villa this season. Likewise Paul Merson, but they are quickly heading back to the Premiership. It's gone out.
Well, he's unlucky, Paul Merson. What he's done is he's spotted that already, that him and Fester could be free. If he moves himself out to that right hand side of the pitch, Fester on this left hand side, they would be 2 players who are free because everybody else is picked up. That's where the space is. Merson spotted it, but the ball to him wasn't fantastic.
Sheffield United are virtually assured of a deserved playoff place, but Reading, Nottingham Forest and Wolves are still feeling the heat, and the heat is coming from an East Anglian direction, from Ipswich and from Norwich. And of course, coming later on Sky Sports, Reading against Forest, another crunch game in the playoff frame. There are still a few points to be won and lost yet. Ipswich go to Rotherham on Easter Monday. They could do with a win to take there. Cunyago. And Shaka Hislop comes to claim it.
That's a good claim. We've seen him punch in so many situations like that, but he took charge of it there.
Primus gets it back from Stone, looking for Bradbury. It gathered pace on its way through to Andy Marshall. Andy and Wilness. Kept on by Miller, but to little avail. Fester. Being allowed to roam. Bradbury for Sherwood. Now Quasi. Ariane Dazou has to mop up. Oh, that's a little loose though. It's gone away from Sherwood. Martin Royce Grateful to receive it, and a wonderful strike as well. Royle gives Ipswich a flying start as they look to keep up their push for a playoff place.
Well, talk about giving somebody an invitation to shoot. That's exactly what Portsmouth did and Hayden Fox did. Look at Joe, he's absolutely delighted because Royle has read this ball. As soon as Dazou's played this inside, he's already on his way. He picks that ball up and just watch. Fox, is he going to go to the ball? No, go on, have a shot. He has a speculative shot. Shaka Hislop will look at that and think, that has bounced underneath my arms. I should have used big strong arms to push that away, but that bounce in front of me has taken it into the back of the net.
3 years ago, when Ipswich last won promotion to the Premiership, Martin Royle played a very prominent part in the run-in, and Joe Royle and David Cheapshanks happy men, because Ipswich really could do with having another crack at the Premiership. Plenty of financial problems, of course. Similar story for so many clubs.
Well, it's worked, hasn't it? They've been solid. They've allowed Portsmouth to play the ball across the pitch. They've just kept their shape in there and try and pick up the bits in that midfield when they can.
Sherwood, Fester. In front of Bradbury.
But they've been behind before, Portsmouth. They don't panic. Just keep playing exactly the same way.
Portman Road is buzzing, and this is some place when it's buzzing. Cunyago trying to release Marcus Bent, and Royle still might. Fox was in the way both times. Todorov used his strength to fend off Wilness. All the way across for Paul Merson to chase. A bit too much of a chase for the 35-year-old.
Well, he may have gone a little bit earlier there, Paul, because he stood out in that right-hand side of the pitch in loads and loads of space, but just then Todorov looking to advance further forward rather than just switch the play.
Sherwood. And again. Oh, this is neat from Portsmouth, and Stone sliding in with Gardso. And Matt Holland guarding the goal.
Good reading by Garceau. Stone was in. He doesn't get across in time.
Merson. Fester. He might just have a pop here, Gianluca Fester, and it needed Andy Marshall to turn it away.
Well, I just think he's been stood on his own for most of this first half. In the 13 minutes we've had, all they need to do is find him, because he's in space all the time. What he does when he comes inside, he doesn't catch this properly, but it just bounces in front of the goalkeeper, Andy Marshall, but it bounces nicely for him to push away.
It's Paul Merson's corner as Portsmouth look for a response. Andy Marshall with a decent fist of it. Stone. Merson. Delightful touch for Kwasi now. And Wilness stops it going to the corner.
Well, that's what Paul Merson gives you, the unexpected. Even Matt Holland didn't read that back flick.
Kwasi for Merson. Just over the head of Steve Stone, but it comes back to him now. Magilton hassling him. Merson will try again. He loves those with the outside of his boot. Now Richards has released the goal scorer, Royle. Now Marcus Bent. Hayden Fox tangling with him, and Eddie Wolstenholme, the referee, saw nothing wrong with that, despite a protest from Bent. Fester. Oh, Todorov. And across came Chris Macon. Richards. Magilton. Taking a more direct route, but asking a bit too much.
Well, what happened is Richard stopped. He made the movement because Jim didn't look at him. He decided to stop, and we all know he can do that reverse ball. Jim Magilton, just trust me, I'll find you if you keep running.
Collins' header dropped the wrong side of Marcus Bent. Only 5 teams have got the better of Portsmouth in the first division this season. Ipswich really do need to become the 6th to put the pressure on in the race for a place in the playoffs. Lee Bradbury's smack, cannoned off guard, so Richards. Fester spun away from Miller. Quasi ran into Macon, free kick Ipswich.
What Joe might be thinking is, with Fester, is he's not going to hurt us too much if he's in possession quite a lot of the time, and he's the one that we can allow to be on the ball more than anybody else. But as we've seen, he can do things with the ball.
When the teams met at Fratton Park earlier in the season, it finished 1-1. Ipswich with a better team then. Miller. Across came Linboy Primus to deal with the threat of Marcus Bent. Wilness. Magilton. Kanyargo, he's got round Ariane Dezou. Wonderful work from Kanyargo, and Miller's effort was saved, and Portsmouth somehow kept it out.
He's tried to be just too careful, Tommy Miller. What he's tried to do is just make sure he hits the target rather than just thinking, right, I'm going to give this a thump. Let's give Shaka Hislop the credit for the save, but you have to say that Tommy Miller, given this opportunity again, would absolutely thump it. How well does Kunago do there? He's away from Dezou, and that's a fantastic setup. And it's side of the foot, low and hard. Primus is behind Hislop, and he makes the save.
Tommy Miller was at Ipswich as a kid. They had to pay some money to get him back from Hartlepool, and he's really come into his own this season. Been troubled by injuries before. That's why we perhaps didn't see the best of him under George Burley, who's watching this game with us today. Magilton. Dezou's header. Fester. Sherwood. Bradbury. It's come to Fester. Wilness in the way. Fester's throw, Nigel Quasi. Sherwood. Todorov, beaten to it by Gardser.
That's where Sherwood sometimes thinking quicker than the players in and around him. Just that ball comes into it, turns it round the corner.
Magilton for Marcus Bent, but the flag did go up.
Just set off a little bit too early. He loves the ball from Jim Magilton because he can drop it on a sixpence for you. Well, look at that. He's at least a yard onside.
Dezou. Sherwood. Steve Stone looking for it. Neither he nor Richards made any contact. Merson offside against Lee Bradbury. Bradbury, one of only 2 players in the starting lineup of Portsmouth tonight who haven't played in the Premiership. Primus is the other. Right on cue, there was Primus, now Quasi. Dazoo, who won promotion with Barnsley, and now with Portsmouth. Jilton's flick, but Dazoo saw it coming. Now Quasi, Holland, proving to be a barrier.
Done that well in midfield with Jilton and Holland, and biting and winning the bits and pieces in there.
Sherwood has slipped it through, and Andy Marshall quick to react.
Just on his heels. He's on his front foot there, he's in.
Fester, oh, now, did he catch Royce there? Well, the referee Eddie Wolstenholme comes across, but Fester appeared to...
Well, it's similar to the Sol Campbell incident, Ian, because all he does is he's trying to put his arm across him to stop him coming near him, and he does it not on one occasion, he does it on at least 2 occasions. Just watch this, he's in possession, there you are, across, he's trying to get away from him, and there it is again, and there it is for 3 times, and that is a wallop.
He's not even booked him.
Well, the linesman was on this side, or the assistant was on this side, and you have to see that sort of thing. Fester's saying that, but this is the argument that Sol Campbell's got. The player is coming into me, and I'm going across him to stop him getting across me. But you have to say, when you see it, as the same as the Sol Campbell thing, you make contact with that player, so you're in trouble.
Fester and Royce made up. Fester made sure that Royce made up. Here's Holland. Richards. Holland offside against Royce. He's protesting about that.
Well, let's go through it again. We can see it. Look, there he is. The arm comes across once. There it is again, and that's the 3rd one that we saw there, and that's a wallop right in the chops.
So is there a difference to the other night?
The difference is you never got a yellow or a red. That's the difference. One referee's interpretation of it.
Eddie Wolstenholme's last season on the list. Todorov just had a little nibble then, but nothing too serious.
Give them their credit, Ipswich. They didn't overreact in that situation. We see so many players getting involved, and all of a sudden you've got a scrum where there's about 8 or 9 players and everything's kicking off. They held their discipline really well.
Merson. Stone. And Richards is going to marshal that behind. He's only 18. Steve Stone is a tad older. Sherwood, Quasi now able to take it in his stride. He has Merson available and Lee Bradbury too. And Bradbury got it all wrong.
Just step the game up, Portsmouth. Just passing this ball around better than they did early in the game. Going forward quicker instead of just going to the side. And winning those battles in the midfield.
Todorov was clipped by Wilness.
Crunching tackle there between Kunago and Tim Sherwood. They both felt it. Kunago limping away, and so Sherwood.
Todorov. Quasi. Holland needed some help. It's a free kick to Portsmouth. Macon stuck in.
He jumps out the way before Chris Macon makes the tackle. Just watch. He's already going up in the air, look, before the tackle comes in.
Well, Merson, Sherwood and Quasi all by the free kick. It's Quasi who hits it. Ipswich weren't quite ready for it.
They spotted that very early on, that the Wall's all of a sudden looking at their goalkeeper, and Merson's played it while they're all looking. But the shot's not on target.
Portsmouth back in the big time for the first time in 15 years, incredibly for such a big club. Next season will be only the second that they'd have spent in the top flight for 45 years.
Tremendous achievement from Harry Redknapp. And if anyone can do a similar job that Sam Allardyce has done by bringing in loans and free transfers, he can do it.
In recent seasons, Lee Bradbury will remember that Portsmouth were usually fighting relegation a couple of times in the late 90s. They only survived on goals scored. It's a very different story this season, and the long-suffering supporters of Portsmouth suffering no more, milking the moment. Here's Richards as Ipswich look for a second. Marcus Bent, and it's come back to Tommy Miller, and Ipswich do have a second, and those teams in the playoff pack now are really starting to feel the heat.
Well, if he was too tentative on the first shot, he wasn't going to do it when he get a second opportunity, because he's thumped this away. What a move this is. It starts with Magilton, into Tommy Miller, out to Richards. He's on his way, and then Tommy watches the situation. Great ball in towards Bent. That's where they get a bit of good fortune. But once it bounces and it's loose, the only thing for Tommy Miller is to make sure Kunago doesn't get in the way. And once he's not there, he just gets this ball, and watch him drive it low and hard to the right of Xhaka. No chance whatsoever.
Ipswich sitting pretty. And two superbly struck strikes from Tommy Miller and from Martin Royle. Here's Royle. Kunago. And Royle was taken out by Steve Stone, and Sherwood having a right pop at Eddie Wolstenholme.
Yeah, they're accusing him of diving there. I think it's an overreaction. They probably think he was at fault on the Festa little spat. And there's Marcus Bent just saying, calm down now, don't worry about them, just it's us you've got to worry about.
Royster might fancy the free kick. It is all going Ipswich's way just now.
And just twice when they've been rocking in their play, they've come up with important goals.
Scored a few spectacular goals in his time, Royster. That one is straight against the wall. Here's Macon. Ipswich rather relieved that Portsmouth didn't wait until today to clinch promotion. They did it on Tuesday night. Oh, Kunago. Kunago, he twists, he turns, he scores. Portsmouth had their party on Tuesday. Ipswich are having their party today.
Well, Kunago, what a goal. What an absolute beauty, because he just rolls this ball away from the defender, and he's saying to Dazoo, there's no way you're getting anywhere near this. If you expect me to go down the wing, I'm going to duck back inside. If you expect me to come back inside and do the shot, I'm going to go down the right hand side. There's the minute he comes back in, but what a thump that is, because the goalkeeper's positioning is great. He's covered his near post. He thinks there's only a big spot at the far post, but just watch the power. when he strikes this ball. Once it leaves that boot, it's an absolute beauty. The control's very good, the movement's a bit special, and the strike is something else.
Wow, half an hour played, and Ipswich lead by 3-0, and the quality of all 3 goals have been top-notch. Oh, they are turning on the style that has been associated with Portsmouth for much of the season, but it's always been the way that Ipswich play as well through the years. Royce loving every minute of this.
Well, Joe was saying to us early on that they should have given quite a lot of teams a thumping here, and everything they've hit today, apart from that side foot from Tommy Miller, has rocketed into the net.
Well, there are a lot of people in the Portsmouth camp, including Harry Redknapp, who reckon Ipswich will get into the playoffs. Very stern-faced, and no wonder. The wonderful week has been spoilt somewhat as they look to secure the championship and put away from Leicester. They're not going to do that yet. Joe Royle's Ipswich have been absolutely awesome. Hard to think that there were some people who questioned his appointment as manager. A decent track record.
He's done a wonderful job. Very difficult circumstances to come in, but just look at the freshness that they're playing with the side.
Festa sent it over the top. Garso sent tumbling by Bradbury. And skipped the ball away. And Ipswich knew they had to be up for it today. They have been well up for it. If they win, they move within a point of Wolves, who play Millwall tomorrow, and Mark McGee might fancy something going back to Molineux. And of course, Reading and Nottingham Forest are well within touching distance as well. And let's not forget Norwich, he said quietly around these parts, because they're still in the hunt as well. They go to Walsall tomorrow and are home to Wolves on Sky Sports on Monday. The Easter weekend is certainly going to sort of few things out.
It always has done, Ian, and it always will do. Just when you think you're home and hosed and you're safe, a couple of defeats over Easter drops you back in it. Just when you think you've got no chance of getting into the playoffs, a couple of wins gets you back in there. It all leaves it nicely for that last day of the season.
Ipswich have taken their tally of goals for the season to 74 now, which is a remarkable return, really. Only spoilt by the fact that the goals against column is quite high as well, but it's not very high at all today in this match. Ipswich brimming with confidence. They've been on a decent run, just one defeat in their last 11 games, and that was against Nottingham Forest here in a crazy old match that they lost 4-3. Goal kick from Andy Marshall.
So a lot of goalkeepers put under pressure by their defenders, and sure, a few managers must be saying to their players, if you can knock it up the pitch rather than going back to your goalkeeper, do it.
Sherwood sends it in. Bradbury trying to set it up for Kwasi. Ipswich hungry though, and they're on their way again with the man who scored the first, Martin Royce, looking for Marcus Bent. And Bent returns it to Royce. Took a little nick off Hayden Fox as well, and Hislop able to smother.
Yeah, you're right, that's the important thing. The touch from Hayden Fox stops this going in that far corner. He seemed to do it very casually, but I'm sure he was delighted when it hit him. Inside the last 10 minutes of the first half.
Wouldn't it be intriguing if Ipswich's push for a playoff place went to the final day of the season, because on the final day Ipswich go to Derby, and of course George Burley could still be in charge of Derby.
It's in your hands, George. Or it could be, I should say.
Here's Richards, and it's landed on the roof of the net, but it did concern Hislop for a moment.
You know what fans would say in a situation like that, Ian? They would say, oh, it's George, he used to be our manager, he'll do us a favour.
Yeah, and does anyone else believe that? Well, Jim Smith, former Derby manager himself, of course, and now number 2 to Harry Redknapp, and Kevin Bond there as well, who's done an important job as, well, I suppose their legs on the training field, really.
They've done fantastic jobs, the pair of them. But you know, at half-time, after Harry's had his 2 penneth worth, that Jim will be chipping in with a few words of advice to 1 or 2 players.
Offside against Cunyago that time. The Spaniard scoring his 19th goal of the season today. He is the top scorer, and a player that George Burley brought in from Celta Vigo on a free. Quasi. Esther. Nigel Quasi. Portsmouth look to stir themselves. Looking a little hungover at the moment, to say the least.
Just look how hard they're working, Ipswich, to stop Portsmouth playing. Really are chasing and moving into position and stopping the areas where Portsmouth are trying to play the ball, trying to get it to by working so hard to close them down.
Wilmes. Holland. Miller. Now Cunyago. Marcus Bent hasn't got on the score sheet yet. He's not about to either. It's slithered away from him.
Look at them, they are a team of footballers. And when you get your noses in front, you can sit back and relax like they can. They just pass that ball for fun, and the movement is terrific. Just over hit there from Cunyago.
Here's Merson, and it hit the back of Nigel Quasi. Cunyago. Sherwood away to Stone. Bradbury was offside. It is turning into the long Good Friday for Portsmouth. Ipswich have put on a show in front of almost 30,000 at Portman Road. Marcus Bent flicked it on. Now Royce. He's hunting for goal again. He's Martin Royce, and he's not quite managed to send it back, but he has got a corner.
Just thought he was going to nibble too early there, Aidan Fox. But he managed to stay on his feet.
And Tim Sherwood is going to be summoned to Eddie Wolstenholme. He kicked the ball then at Martin Royce at a fair pace, and he's got a yellow card. It actually did hit Royce as well.
Well, what Tim is saying, like, the ball's right next to Martin Royce when he gets up to walk towards the corner. Why can't he take the ball with him? If he's not going to take with him, I'm going to thump it at him. It hit him on the back, and he got a yellow for his pains.
Because he's 3-0 up and he doesn't care. Royce sends it in, Holland flicked it on, and Garzo trying to scramble it in, but Shaka Hislop stopped it right on the line.
Well, there's no belief in Garzo when he goes in for this ball. Look at that face, he knows he should have scored. It should be 4 now. It just bounces up nicely. Go on, stick that in, but he just toe pokes it more than anything else and hopes that it can find its way to the back of the net, but Steve Stone and Shaka Hislop between him on that line keep it out.
It was nearly number 4. Shaka had other ideas. This is a scoreline that will not only worry those in the playoff pack, it will encourage Leicester, who are trying to catch Portsmouth, of course, and only 2 points behind. Holland, Magilton.
Just look at this football. 4 touch from Royle, but look at that for 1 touch play and passing.
Well, coming up later in this double bill of First Division football is another crucial contest from the magnificent Medeski Stadium. Reading and Nottingham Forest from 7:30. Sky Sports 1. Unfamiliar territory this for Portsmouth fans, being so far behind.
It's a real funny situation. As a manager, he's going to have to be careful at half-time because they've done the business for him, they've got themselves promoted. He does want the medals, that's the thing. He wants the trophy that says we won the First Division in season 2002-2003. But also between now and the end of the season, he's going to have to keep him as happy as he can, because when all said and done, they've worked their socks off for him and got him a promotion. All of that will count for nothing at half-time.
There's Gianluca Festa though. Portsmouth looking to get one back, but it's grossly overhit by the Italians, so much so that it'll be retrieved by Richards. Sherwood, Merson, Festa, Quasi, looking to find a way to go.
They're solid. They're solid. Ipswich, he's on his way down, or he's going to go down with Joe. Have a little chat with Joe, and I bet the first thing that Harry will be saying, if you're a fly on the wall in that dressing room, is you lot are on your holidays. You think you've done enough? There's still a trophy to go for.
These two managers together, can't wait to get to the dressing room, although I think Harry will have a bit more to say.
I wouldn't be surprised if he was talking about that Festa incident just then.
Won't matter too much to Harry that this is the week that Portsmouth clinched promotion. He still wants to win every game. It still hurts him badly. He's one of the worst managers around when his team are on the receiving end. Best not to go near him for a while.
After the Sheffield Wednesday game, he gave one of the local radio guys a mouthful.
Yeah, don't mention what he said.
The fella tried to pick his team for him, which is never a good idea.
Well, they have a fair few years of managerial experience between them, Joe and Harry.
You can see, look, the hurt in Harry's face already, you know. And, like I say, he shouldn't let this first half performance spoil what's been a wonderful season.
Inside the last minute of the first half, Ipswich Town closing in on the playoff pack. Iago was being held by Ariane Dazou.
Found it very difficult today, Dazou, to cope with Kunago.
Quasi, Merson, Sherwood. Ipswich have risen to the challenge. They certainly know what the playoffs are all about. Royle not part of this club when they failed, of course, 3 successive seasons before finally coming through in 2000. George Burley in charge then. We'll hear from George soon. Marcus Bent and Cunyago. He's in again, and that's ominous for Portsmouth. Joe Royle, of course, did enjoy promotions with Oldham and Manchester City, and an FA Cup win with Everton, a decent track record. And looking for more success with Ipswich Town. Ball won't come down at the moment. And then Boyd Primus steps in. A little late from Gato. It's going to bring a yellow card as he slid in on Todorov.
No need for it, is there? You don't get overexcited now. You're 3-0 up, just hold your ground. No need to go and try and win a ball that's not there to be won.
Gato late arriving on the scene, and he has got a yellow card, joining the Pompey pair, Fester and Sherwood, in the book. Sherwood. Quasi for Stone. Portsmouth rather shell-shocked. And Sherwood was about to shoot. Bradbury had a go. Actually took it off his toes. Here's Steve Stone. Fester's cross, which won't want to concede one at this point. And they might get one themselves. Another one. Hull Holland. And a poor touch, unusually for him. It is half-time. Good Friday. It's been a brilliant Friday for Ipswich Town. Pablo Cunyago, one of the scorers. Tommy Miller and Martin Royser also with spectacular strikes. And Ipswich are putting the heat on the playoff path. They lead promoted Portsmouth at half-time, 3-0.
The Football League on Sky Sports, sponsored by Sky Bet.
This summer, Sky Sports brings you non-stop cricket action. England take on Pakistan in the NatWest Challenge, then play Zimbabwe and South Africa in the NatWest Series. Enjoy the revolutionary 2020 Cup knockout competition. Big-hitting, fast-paced action with only 20 overs per side. Plus one-day action in the National Cricket League. And more from Australia's tour of the West Indies. A big summer of cricket on Sky Sports.
The Ford Focus. Built to take control.
Things that make you go, mmm.
McDonald's new tastes menu brings you the Cadbury Cream Egg McFlurry.
A mouth-watering treat for just 99p.
Do you know what I had to do to get to where I am today? I waited tables, I modeled knitting patterns, I was a girl choking on a peanut in a first aid video. And you're telling me that people get a lifestyle like mine through some promotion?
Just open a Diet Coke and you could be pampered like a movie star before attending a West End premiere and after-show party.
And the giant hot dog at Barbecue World? That was me. That was me.
Some might say you had it too easy.
Polycel's new base coat
for cracked, patchy walls. For a really smooth finish, it's the perfect start. Polycell, it only takes 2 ticks.
Still sorting out those bills, darling?
I'm just wrestling with this credit card balance. You're becoming a major hassle.
I've just transferred our balance to a Capital One card.
A what?
Transfer your balance when you take out a Capital One No Hassle Platinum card and pay just 5.9% APR for the life of the balance. It's quick and easy.
What's in your wallet?
Hibernation's over. Better hurry to our biggest ever spring sale.
You look. You stare. You hold your breath. Your pulse races. Is it the clarity? Is it the performance? Is it the sleek design? Flat panel television by Samsung. It's digital temptation, and everyone's invited.
Yeah.
Don't even think about leaving that booth.
Wrong number, pal.
I'm aiming at you right now.
Who is this?
You're in this position because you're not telling the truth.
You're bluffing.
There's only one way to find out.
You shot him.
Phone booth.
Please hang up and try again.
75% of engine wear happens in the first 10 minutes. That's how long it takes some ordinary oils to start fully protecting. But new Castrol GTX Magnatec clings to the engine like a magnet. So it starts the second your engine does. Castrol GTX Magnatec. Protection from the moment you turn the key.
The Football League on Sky Sports, sponsored by Sky Bet.
The next gripping instalment is Reading against Nottingham Forest. That's next on Sky Sports 1. And tonight from 9 o'clock, US Tour Golf, the Heritage, Day 2 on Sky Sports 2. And tennis from Monte Carlo, Sky Sports Extra right now. Breathtaking stuff. Ipswich have virtually blown the leaders Portsmouth away inside 45 minutes. George Burley is with me. That was some performance, George.
Great performance from start to finish. They've been in top, scored some great goals, played magnificent football, and really it's been men against boys at times. But Ipswich have played some great stuff and could have scored more. But you know, there's been some great goals. But some of the action has been, you know, Premiership quality stuff. How are the other teams in the playoff positions in Norwich thinking now, though? I mean, are Portsmouth still in party mood? Well, you could say that, you know, Portsmouth haven't really got started, but I think you've got to give all the credit to Ipswich. The way they have, you know, closed down quickly, they've won it, they've passed it, they've got pace up front, they've scored some good goals. So I think you've got to say that on the day, Ipswich, you know, are a top-class side, and you know, and when they're playing well, they're very difficult to stop. Absolutely no complaints. They put 6 past Leicester this season, 3 past Reading, 3 past Forest, 3 against Sheffield United, and they've got 3 now in the first half against Portsmouth. The first one, Martin Royle. He'd hardly touched the ball though before the goal, George. Well, that was right. He didn't really get into the game, but it was a poor pass across the field from Dazoo. But Martin's a very good striker of the ball. As you can see, there's a lot of pace and the ball did move. You might say, you know, Xhaka could have got his finger on it, but all credit to Martin. It's a good strike, you know, and when you hit it with so much power, it can fly in. Just 30 yards out, just on, and yeah, I mean, 60 miles an hour. Yeah, he scored a lot of goals like that, Martin. You know, around the box, you know, he can colour it, he can bend it. He's got a good strike of the ball. But you know, all credit. But it was a poor pass initially, which caused them problems. And they kept coming forward, didn't they? You know, and Tommy Miller got the second goal. It was a good goal from him as well. Yeah, this was a great move, good pass and movement. I talked about the midfield battle. I mean, Ipswich are well on top. I mean, Jim Magilton's the playmaker. Jim's got on all the time, and he gets some play and he passes it. Good link-up play. And young Matt Richards, only 18, he's another great prospect. And Tommy Miller, it wasn't an easy finish. He had to adjust his feet and he had to keep it down. It dropped it onto his left foot. So, but Tommy's very good at making runs in the box, and it was, you know, the keeper's got no chance this time. And you've got to say, you know, he's finished off the move very well.
Now, Portsmouth haven't conceded 3 goals in the league this season at all until today.
Well, it could have been more than 3, let's face it. But then again, it's like a top-class side for me, and when you get, like Pablo Canaga, we spoke about him before, before the start of the game. He's tricky, he's strong, and he's got great power with that right foot, and you won't see many, better finishes than that. But he is a handful, and he, as I say, once he gets on that right side, he's got great power, and the keeper's got no chance whatsoever there.
2.5 minutes between those goals, and well, that's 18 goals now for Ipswich in their last 6 games. You more than anybody, George, know Ipswich are capable of doing this.
Yeah, I mean, actually before the season started, I said, Ipswich can score 100 goals this season, so that'll be interesting. Yeah. But Joe Royle's got them buzzing, and when I look at the squad, all these players are capable of doing well in the Premiership, and it's great. They're showing the performances today, and in front of a capacity crowd. I'm sure that the fans at Portman Road are really enjoying it.
Absolutely. Well, let's see. Yes, I'm sure they are. They're a point off the playoff places as it stands at the moment. Half time. Another 45 minutes to come. Pompey fans bemused.
The Football League on Sky Sports, sponsored by Sky Bet.
Toughness now comes in a brand new shape. The all-new Ford Transit Connect is here. International Van of the Year 2003. Job done.
What's the best thing that could happen to you right now?
Sarah, I'm your blind date.
Okay, at Abbey National we can't do this, but we can make your first step onto the property ladder as easy as possible, because we've teamed up with Rough Guides to bring you an independent guide to buying your first home. Abbey National, let us make your first move easier. Call us or visit your local branch.
It's your 21st birthday, son, and we all chipped in together and bought you this.
Posh noodle?
Yes, son. It's not your ordinary pot noodle. It's for special. It's imported from the Thailand. It says there. It's more expensive, but that doesn't matter.
Take it back. You can't afford this, Dad.
No, son. It's yours. Happy birthday.
What?
New posh noodle, not for the likes of you.
Are you ready yet?
Whatever risks you take to take great pictures, don't take any risks when you get them processed. At Kodak Pictures outlets, we check every processing machine every day. So why risk prints like this when you could get prints like this? Whatever you take it to Kodak Pictures.
Got the hang of that then, Dad.
Share the moment, share life.
With Vodafone Live, you get ringtones good enough to dance to. The latest games and much more. Vodafone Live.
Given the choice, wouldn't you rather have more than? For insurance, investments and personal finances, don't accept less than more than.
The Saturday premiere. A second helping.
I like that.
An extra portion.
Oh, it's killer.
Another piece.
Oh.
This time served with all the trimmings.
Holy potatoes!
Treat yourself to a second slice of pie.
Ooh, look at you style.
Oh!
Let's get naked.
Okay, kiss. I don't know how I get myself into these things.
American Pie 2, tomorrow at 8 on Sky Movies Premiere.
The Football League on Sky Sports, sponsored by Sky Bet.
Scottish Cup semi-final tomorrow at midday. Rangers against George Burley's old team, Motherwell. Sky Sports 1 from noon. Well, it's been a fantastic first half for Ipswich. Any way back in the game at all, George, for Portsmouth, do you think?
I don't think so. I can't see it because I think they've came up a better team. You know, but that's only 45 minutes. When you look at Portsmouth, maybe they'll bring Harper on because, you know, Fester's getting a lot of the ball, but to be fair, he's a centre back. They maybe need somebody that's more a natural attacker to give Ipswich problems in wide areas. Because at the moment, you know, when Fester gets the ball, you know, Tommy Miller's moving across and closing them down, sort of allowing them to have the ball. So, overall, I just can't see it. I mean, Ipswich are playing some great football. They've got plenty of confidence. You know, they're brought up keeping possession and playing. So really, I just can't see any way back for Portsmouth.
And how important is momentum going into playoffs? Ipswich get there. I mean, they go in with confidence, don't they? Having got all their best games under their belt near the end.
Well, that's right. I mean, I still believe that they can finish in the top 6, and you can see the performance. And I think on the day, I honestly believe that Ipswich are the best team in the first division. But you know, I think you're seeing that today. But it's a case of, you know, them keeping going. They've still got ground to make up. But I think they're going to get the 3 points today.
Well, I'm sure the dressing room for Ipswich would have been a pretty happy place, but for Portsmouth, well, what could Harry and Jim have said? We shall see if it's had any effect whatsoever. The second half about to get underway. Let's rejoin our commentators, Chris Kamara and Ian Crocker.
Thank you, George. And George, yes, Portsmouth conceding 3 goals for the first time in the First Division this season. There's a long way back for them, but if any team is capable of such a recovery, they might be. But Ipswich, well, they've given their fans an Easter feast of football, Chris.
They certainly have. George Burley was utilising there at half-time and saying, you know, the football, because it was fabulous at times, the one-touch play was brilliant. Orchestrating it all was Jim Magilton in the centre of that midfield. He doesn't run about too much, but what he can do with that ball means he doesn't have to.
Well, since the Premiership was formed a decade ago, 8 teams have bounced straight back after relegation. Leicester City will become the 9th, and could Ipswich become the 10th? Ipswich begin the second half, bidding to reach the playoffs for the 6th time. Referee played the advantage after Fox nudged Kunyago in the back. Portsmouth need a goal early in the second half, stating the obvious indeed, but they need to give it their best shot as they try and fend off Leicester in the race for the title. And if Portsmouth do lose, Leicester could go top tomorrow. Joe Royle downstairs now, and so is Harry.
A real spring in his step, Joe, when he walked down that line. Harry seemed to take an eternity to walk down to the line. But their ears will be ringing. He'll demand a performance in this second half from his team.
Well, 10 years ago, Harry won promotion from this division as number 2 to Billy Bonds at West Ham, when they pipped Jim Smith's Portsmouth, ironically. Matt Holland, which is influential and inspirational captain Kunyago, trying to let it go for Marcus Bent. Fox's header. Todorov. The best of passes for Steve Stone, who grapples with Roycer, and a free kick for Ipswich.
He has to calm down, Steve Stone. First challenge he went to when the second half started, he was slightly exaggerated. Then he's trying to get a ball that's not his. Just calm down and play your way back into this game. Don't lose it now. We've been so disciplined all season. Keep their composure.
Quasi. Coming away from Magilton. No time for Lee Bradbury to do anything. Hayden Fox for Tim Sherwood. Merson. Tommy Miller intervening temporarily. Primus. Sherwood takes over. Kunyago hounding him.
Worked so hard in that first 45 minutes, Ipswich, and they're doing it once again. Not allowing Portsmouth to string loads and loads of passes together without a blue shirt being close to someone.
Sherwood. Fester. Bradbury looking for the return, and he's found Fester and Steve Stone and Todorov in there, and it's come off Richards.
What a ball. What a brilliant ball from Gianluca Fester. Todorov made the run to the near post, but he just didn't check his stride far enough to get back, because if he had, that was a absolute knock-in.
Portsmouth showing some urgency now, and they need to. Merson's corner. Oops, Quasi having to go all the way back ultimately to Shaka Hislop. Fester, cut out by Wilness. Tommy Miller, Hayden Fox made it his. I think that should have been an Ipswich throw.
The system couldn't have been any closer. Even from our distance, it looked as if Todorov popped it out.
Todorov delivers now, and Richards makes sure that it doesn't carry to Merson. Stone. This is Quasi.
He's almost playing as a left winger now, Gianluca Fester. No danger of him going back at all. He's just stood right, very far forward.
Magilton. Aimed towards Marcus Bent, but it's comfortable for Shaka Hislop. Marcus Bent, his manager Joe Royle said before the game to Marcus that he thought his performance at Coventry last week was a bit like a young Les Ferdinand, and Marcus replied and went, "Nah, young Ronaldo."
Which is rich when you consider he's older than Ronaldo.
Obviously not a player short on confidence.
No, not at all. But he does have his days, Marcus Bent, where he's almost unplayable. Today's not one of them at the moment, but still young enough to have his best years ahead of him.
Last week at Coventry was one of those days. Merson sending it through, and Svetoslav Todorov can get a corner out of that.
Movement's better. You can see they're working their inroads now. They're just getting behind, and all of a sudden that Ipswich back four just dropping on towards their goalkeeper. One thing they didn't do in the first half, they kept Portsmouth away from the goal.
Merson's corner safely taken by Andy Marshall, and he's going to find Kunyago. Primus ahead of the queue. It's Chris Makin tearing away. Makin looking for Marcus Bent, but it was straight out to Zoo. Tommy Miller with another chance to have a go.
Well, he never needs an invitation to have a strike, Tommy Miller. Doesn't make good contact with this ball, but it's bouncing up. Seen him score goals like that. Hartlepool, and he's hoping to do the same again.
Quasi. Macon has the situation under control. Ipswich with 3 glorious goals in the first half. Now Wilness. Richards. Royle, who started the scoring spree.
One thing you don't mind as a manager is players trying things and inside, outside of the foot, trying to put people into positions. Crowd appreciate as well. They've been brought up on good football here at Ipswich. That's what they like to see.
Over 29,000 packed into Portman Road today. There wasn't a ticket to be had for this game. Of course, the Portsmouth fans came in numbers as well. They thought there might still be something riding on it. There is in terms of the title race, but not promotion. And the Ipswich fans are sensing that this could be another remarkable year in the playoff scenario.
It's never a dull season when you're at Ipswich, that's for sure.
Fortunate enough to be at that game against Bolton a few years back when they finally clinched a place in the playoff final. Unbelievable match that. Steve Stone towards Todorov, but calmly done by Fabian Wilness.
It's cool defending, but they're still dropping on towards the goalkeeper, which is inviting Portsmouth to attack them.
Quasi. Also being hemmed back by this industrious Ipswich team, renowned of course for a bit of flair, but they do work hard as well.
Look at them, they're just all sat in their own half and saying to Portsmouth, you can have it at the back. Every one of your back 3 players can have the ball, and we'll just say, sitting there, you have to try and break us down. We've got the 3 goals in front.
Todorov helped it on, and the flag is up. It's offside, and it's not going to count for Bradbury.
Yeah, he sets off too early. Doesn't look across the line. And Tim Sherwood, if you give him invitation, he'll put players in. Here's the ball, goes just there. And you can see it's a good yard.
Niago, Royle, cross comes Dizu.
Well, he got a kick, Cuniago. Even Fox nibbling away at him. Referee's telling him to get up as if he made it up.
Quasi. Bradbury away to his left, and Fester not far away either, of course. Quasi's touch allowed Macon to steer it away, though. Not the sort of delivery that Marcus Bent needed.
Well, I think they've knocked down tools as far as the football's concerned, but what they're saying is, look, we've got the goals now, we're going to keep our shape, we're going to work to this shape, and we're just going to stop use from playing rather than open the game up and play ourselves.
Marcus Bent got away from Fox, but then ran into Sherwood. Ipswich's throw. Matt Holland. Jim Magilton, so important to this team. Richards. Marcus Bent has found Matt Holland, he's quite important too. Wilness. It's Tommy Miller who made the run, and Shaka Hislop who had to pluck it out of the air.
When they do play though, they're very comfortable and they always find players' feet, which is nice to watch, and Tommy Miller's got very, very good feet.
Paul Merson with nowhere to go particularly. Nigel Quasi. That sums up Portsmouth's day, really.
That's not what the manager wants. Oh, come on, let's keep playing. That's not us.
Well, Harry's running home games against Reading and Rotherham, and a trip to Bradford to come on the final day. Ipswich, and they are really starting to believe that a place in the playoffs could yet be theirs. They have Wimbledon here at home, Ipswich, and away games at Rotherham and Derby.
I think Aidan Fox catches him with his arm. Paulo Cudnago. Cauliflower ear, side of the head.
So there was a sore one for the Spaniard, who has played at every level for his country, Spain, apart from the senior side. He was renowned as a youngster, going through the various youth levels. Macon, who played under Joe Royle at Oldham as well. Mark is bent, Primus stuck a leg out. Matt Holland. Todorov back, and he's rather crudely taken out Fabian Wilners.
That's the frustration, you see, the reason why Ipswich should keep playing football and not just try and defend is because when Portsmouth can't get the ball off them, they get frustrated and they get over anxious and end up doing stupid things.
Cudnago not getting much joy that time. Sums up Ipswich though. Martin Royson not giving it up, and he wanted to throw himself as Portsmouth prepared to make a change. And they're going to bring on Vincent Perricard. Presume Lee Bradbury will be coming off. He will. Well, they thought Perricard might be out for the rest of the season actually. He picked up an injury, but he came on against Burnley midweek, and likewise today he's on for Bradbury, and the young Frenchman is a real talent.
Yes, he's on loan with a view to a signing. Very, very good player on his day. I don't think he's had enough of those good days since he's been in a Portsmouth shirt.
He's on loan from Juventus, who signed him from St Etienne, and they might actually keep him next season as well. An hour gone. Portman Road. It's been a stroll in the park for Ipswich against promoted Portsmouth. Milan Mandaric and his money has certainly helped Portsmouth realise their Premiership dream, and contrary to speculation that he might be about to quit, he will be around and has promised to bring in 5 or 6 players to bolster the squad. Of course, they've got to do something about the stadium as well, because Fratton Park is hardly up to Premiership standard, but they do of course have plans to change that.
It's strange to see them move from there. My career there back in 74, 75 and
19.
And they're talking about turning the stand around, so it'd still be virtually in the same spot with it. I was only 9 as well. 74, 75.
29. Here's Macon. Norwich is the message from the Ipswich fans. Surprise, surprise. And Norwich, of course, themselves still in with a playoff shout. A massive weekend for them and everyone else. Cunyago. Sherwood, a former Norwich player, of course, as you might have gathered by the fact that he has been booed for the most part.
Well, they've picked up the hungry tag again, Ipswich, and anything that moves we're going to try and get on the end of.
Second half has certainly been flat compared to the first, but Ipswich did their business in the first half, and it was big business. A 3-0 lead against the leaders. Cunyago. They could be going in search of number 4. It was between Bent and Royce really, but Marcus Bent hasn't given it up. And Royce, there was a
handball from Steve
shout.
Stone. Handball from Steve Stone, definite handball. Well, Royce doesn't know because he's just headed that ball. He hasn't seen where it's gone when it's left his head. But Steve Stone sticks an arm up. It's high above his head. And the referee was in a good position. Just helped back in by Marcus Bent. Here's the header, and there's that left arm. It's a claw, never mind, just an accidental one. And it's patted down.
Only one hand though. Steve Stone got away with that one. And it remains 3-0. Sherwood, look at Cunyago, not giving him a moment's peace. Now Marcus Bent couldn't come up with a pass.
Well, they've picked the game up, Ipswich. Cunyago is in top form.
Tommy Miller playing a prominent part too, and still managed to get to that as well, Cunyago.
I'll tell you what, I don't think Portsmouth have got a run left in them. I think they came out in that second half and they offered us 5 or 10 minutes of let's go at them, let's try and make some inroads, and now they've just, the legs have gone again.
Well, of course, at the start of the season, Ipswich were the favourites to win the First Division, 7-2 favourites. Portsmouth were 16-1 to win it, although I understand some people got rather better odds than that, 16-1.
Some people got 33-1, but we can't mention their names because...
No, we won't go there. A slight delay in the proceedings as treatment is given and as the Ipswich fans make themselves heard. Well, they've seen some great occasions on this ground in recent years under George Burley, and Joe Royle is hoping to give them some more.
He's no stranger to success, is he, Joe? Great player, as a manager, he's been superb as well.
He took over in October. I think Pompey are going to make a double change soon, as Tommy Miller is patched up.
Well, I'll have a little guess. Stone and Fester will be the two.
Harper and O'Neill waiting to come on. Here is Richards. Royce is blocked by Stone. Referee waited. Free kick given. There was no advantage. Eddie Wolstenholme thought the substitutions might be taking place, but Portsmouth will hold off on those to defend this.
It'd be stupid, wouldn't it, to change now and players going on not knowing who they're marking.
I think the referees realise that it's not happening yet. Come on, Eddie, get on with it. Oh, Royce is focused on the job in hand, and the flag went up immediately. The free kick left the boot of Martin Royce. And now the double change can be made. Paul Merson is going to be one of the men coming off, and Ariane Dezou is the other. And on comes Kevin Harper, who's been troubled by a slight hamstring to inflate. That's why he's not been in the starting lineup. And Gary O'Neill, who's impressed every time we've seen him this season, the England under-20 captain.
Not a bad guess from me then, was it?
Yeah, you were 100% wrong, I think, actually.
The thing is, he could have brought all 10 off, so...
No wonder you're not a manager anymore, then.
But no, I like Gary O'Neill. He is going to be a talent. He will chase about now as if his life depends on it and try and get something back for Portsmouth. Harper, who we know from his Derby days and Hibs in Scotland, very, very quick flying machine. Just give him that little bit of impetus that's lacking at the moment.
A quarter of the game to go. Nigel Quasi has taken the captain's armband from Paul Merson. Todorov chasing this, and he's fouled Garzo. On me.
There's no need to foul. He's facing his own goal. Just leave him. Let him make the decisions. This is where, look, where's he going? What can he do with this? He can't go back to his keeper. Just shrugs him down to the floor.
Jermaine Wright waiting to come on for Ipswich, and Portman Road rises to acclaim the performance of Jim Magilton once again.
Brilliant. He has stroked that ball around all afternoon with perfection, and just when he requires a few more legs, Joe Royle says, brilliant, well done. I'm just sticking him on in there just to make sure we can combat those legs of O'Neill in that midfield.
Wright gets his first touch, now Wilness. Fester shooting into the back three now. Portsmouth on the receiving end today, but for most of the season they've been dishing it out, and that's why they will be playing in the Premiership for the very first time. The 37th different club to play in that elite league since it began a decade ago.
Just thought they might have had a change of tactics.
Some chance from Quasi, that.
Just maybe dispense with the back three and push an extra player on. But Harry's kept that shape. Oh yeah, he's not going to change it now.
Holland, who was at West Ham, and Harry Redknapp was in charge. Harry let him go. He did actually offer him a new deal, but warned him that he'd be down the queue a bit as far as midfield places were concerned. It'd be ironic for Harry if West Ham were to go down and Portsmouth were to go up, but Harry won't want that. He'll quite fancy taking a team to Upton Park next season. He's still got a big place in his heart for the Hammers. They have a big game themselves tomorrow at Bolton.
Oh, what a game that is. If the Arsenal-Manchester United game was one of the games of the season, this is not too far short of it. Bolton versus West Ham.
Obviously a centre. Marcus Bent tried to spin on it. Pericard. Quasi. Gary O'Neill. Who would walk into most First Division teams, but has mainly started as a substitute for Portsmouth. Quasi. Todorov fending off Garza. Quasi into Sherwood. Quasi again. Sent back by Hayden Fox, and Pericard seemed to just fall over.
He thinks he got clipped by Chris Makin. They're effective, Ipswich. That's all they are. When Joe Royle looks back at the second half and he says, well, no, we didn't set the place alight. What we need to do is, with 3 goals up, we need to kill the game. It's important. Let's not get overexcited. Let's not waste unnecessary energy. Let's just keep everybody in their shape and defend properly, and that's what they've done so far in the second half.
Well, they have a testing trip to come on Easter Monday to Rotherham, and they'll need all their strength for that one against Ronnie Moore's boys. It's the thumbs up from Joe Royle today, though.
Just saying to his players there, just get the ball over the top. You know, at sometimes we need to stretch them and just knock that ball over the top towards the front strikers. Let's get Portsmouth turning and facing their own goal again.
Marcus bent. It's help from Miller. Wilness is advanced. Miller's looking for a return. Across came Hayden Fox. Harper's clearance. Foul by Vincent Pericard. And there's a push.
What to like about Thomas Garso? Because he doesn't give the striker he's playing against an inch. And he goes about it in a really uncompromising way.
Iago, Roycer, Marcus bent. Jermaine Wright not giving it up. Hardly looked the favourite to hang in there, but he did. Paddy and Wilness. Some fancy footwork too, and he's got a corner off of Kevin Harper.
The longest step overs in history they were.
This has been a job well done by Ipswich Town. It was a job well done in the first half, in which all 3 goals came, and they were pretty special. Royce's corner. Sherwood. Quasi. Matt Holland. It's going to go for the corner, actually.
Good try from Quasi to switch the play. But he read it, Matt Holland.
Holland's amazing run of consecutive league appearances which came to an end recently when he was on international duty with Ireland. Gary O'Neill will swing it in, and a header from Gianluca Festa comfortably taken by Andy Marshall. Marshall, a former Norwich keeper, hence it took a bit of time for the Ipswich fans to accept him.
Going back to that Matt Holland missing the game because of playing for the Republic of Ireland, he should have called the game off, shouldn't he? When any of your key players have to go away on international duty, you shouldn't have to play a game. And for him, it's a double whammy, isn't it? Because not only does he miss the game, his consecutive appearances has gone out the window, and he could have been in, well, he probably still is, in the Ipswich Town history books.
I'll be hoping he hangs around as well. Might depend on where Ipswich are, I suppose. Which division? They're in a menacing mood again with Cunyago behind Miller. Sherwood. Quasi. Oops. He's presented that to Cunyago, who is unable to present it to Marcus Bent.
Yeah, well, the 3 subs haven't brought any life into the game yet. Pericard, O'Neill or Harper. We haven't seen O'Neill or Harper on the ball since they came on, and Pericard's been well marshalled by the Ipswich back 4.
Well, this scoreline will make Reading and Nottingham Forest a little nervous. They meet each other next on Sky Sports 1. Wolves will be feeling a little nervous too, I dare say. Todorov felt he should have had a free kick. Jermaine Wright. Marcus Bent fancied it, but Hayden Fox watched it. Garzo stepping out. I don't think that's what Marcus Bent intended, but Tommy Miller's able to help it on to Royce. He's gone over to that side, have a look around, now Cunyago. He's bundled his way through, and he needed Marcus Bent to be a little bit further forward, he was unable to pull it back.
Marcus Bent just stood watching him. I'm surprised he didn't give him a round of applause for his run, because he's just stood and watched him instead of helping him out. He could have had a walk in. Look at, he's disgusted because he could have had a free shot at goal there, Marcus Bent, but decided maybe I've had one run too many and I'm saving myself.
Marcus Bent chasing that, but Primus was there. Now Pericard. Portsmouth heading to only their 6th defeat of the season, only their 3rd on their travels, and 2 of those defeats on the road have come in East Anglia, as Norwich beat them as well. Pericard.
5 Ipswich Town players around him there. They haven't given up defending.
Is that all?
Could have had a few more back there. I think Joe will be having words after the game.
Well, the Pompey fans will allow their heroes this one, I guess, after achieving their prime target, promotion to the Premiership. They're enjoying it anyway.
Yeah, fabulous fans, just as Mary and Jim. They've had a great season. There they are. They'd like to join in themselves if the circumstances were different.
We cannot silence the Pompey chimes, not at the moment. They are back in the top flight of English football after a 15-year absence, and when they were last there, they only lasted 1 season. They'll be hoping to hang around a bit longer this time. This is a performance that is completely forgivable, although it's a performance that will give Leicester City hope in the Championship race.
We are putting it down to one of those days where everybody has a bad day. But it could also be due to the fact that maybe 1 or 2 overindulged after the celebrations in that.
Surely not. Ipswich, though, have been fired up from the start and are really starting to believe in this part of the world that there are distinct playoff possibilities. Ipswich are going to make a double change soon.
Well, it's save legs time, isn't it? And if I can have another guess at the substitutions, I would say if I was Joe, I would take the 2 strikers off and save them. I don't want them getting injured.
I'm going to slaughter you if you're wrong again, by the way. I might even try if you're right, though. Tommy Miller. And that's going to veer away from Cunyago, and that'll be the cue, I suspect, to bring on Armstrong and Ian Westlake. And he's up on the roof. See, Portsmouth fans at the moment, they might be 3-0 down, but they don't really care because they're in the Premiership. Well, Martin Roycer has come on, and Ian Westlake, one of the Ipswich youngsters, is coming on, and Alan Armstrong as well. Marcus Bent coming off with Roycer.
1 out of 2.
Not bad. Well, 1 out of 4 all night.
When you put it like that, you're exaggerating the statistics.
Never thought of getting back into management. The Pompey fans will be having a party for a while yet, but Ipswich will be hoping that they're saving a big party themselves for the end of the season. When you go around the First Division grounds, actually, all through the season, even at the start when they weren't faring so well, all the other managers and players kept saying, watch out for Ipswich, fancy them to be up there. They nearly are up there. Could be one back here though. Pericard swooped.
It's a real chance. Watch the ball from Sherwood. It's an absolute peach. Just chip that over the top of the goalkeeper with your head, but just powers it into his hands.
Fox was just nudged by Alan Armstrong, and well, this will hurt Harry and Jim, despite the fact that it's been a wonderful week for Pompey, and despite the fact that the travelling army of Portsmouth fans are singing their names.
Well, it's not over yet, the championship. This is a nice wake-up call for his team, and it's time for them to get back down to business and say, look, okay, we'll allow you that one, but between now and the end of, you pick yourselves up.
Next up for them is another tricky game against Reading at Fratton Park on Monday. Bizarrely, both sets of supporters are enjoying themselves just as much at the moment.
Great atmosphere.
Kiniago. Ian Westlake just on, eager to impress. Matt Richards for Chris Makin. Thomas Gardzo, Jermaine Wright, and now Fabian Wilness. There's a fantastic atmosphere inside Portman Road, and both sets of supporters are doing their bit for that. Portsmouth blitzed by Ipswich in the first half. Searing strikes from Royce, Miller and Kiniago. Ipswich seemingly declaring on 3, but a big win for them this.
It's not easy to do that, when you 3 goals up and you say, right, to the players, that's it, game over, make sure it is. So that's credit to Willie Donachie and Joe Royle. The mentality of the way they've come out in this second half and just been really professional.
Well, they're just happily seeing this one out now. But
Portsmouth as well.
Yeah. I meant them. It has been a bad day for Portsmouth, but there haven't been too many bad days in what has been a remarkable season for a club who have kind of got used to being at the other end of the table and underachieving big time.
Well, they've responded after every defeat that they've had with a win the next time around, so it's quite ominous for Reading on Monday.
Yes, after these celebrations midweek, there was always a chance this might happen, but I'm sure they will be back to their normal selves come Monday and ready to conclude some business. The business of winning the First Division title, although Leicester City could return to the top of the table tomorrow if they beat Brighton, and more importantly for Mickey Adams and Alan Cork, of course, a victory would secure their place in the Premiership, and you can't say that Portsmouth and Leicester don't deserve it.
There's been some fabulous managerial performances. Alan Pardew at Reading as well as unbelievable. Paul Hart, Nigel Worthington picked the side up again, and they're still there or thereabouts. Dave Jones, just when all looked lost, he's got them back in with a shout. Real quality stuff.
Yes, along with the top two, Harry Redknapp and Nick Adams, quite a few candidates for the First Division Manager of the Year.
I don't think anybody would have believed that Reading, well, they're not quite there yet, but will be up there and challenging. Testimony to the players and, like I said, the manager. Big decision to play Nicky Forster up front on his own, and that really worked for him big time.
Mistake from Tommy Miller, and he's rescued by Richards. Jermaine Wright. Now Armstrong. Westlake, the youngster. Armstrong. Checking up on a couple of his old Middlesbrough pals today. Nelson and Fester. They all won promotion together with the North East.
It's keep ball now, isn't it? Just keep it on the ground, let's just pass it around. We don't need to go too far forward.
A couple of minutes to go, there'll be a couple of minutes added on. Fans are still singing merrily away. Portsmouth promoted to the Premiership. Ipswich hoping to follow suit. Jermaine Wright. Tommy Miller. They are pushing and probing again.
I'd be surprised if they lump this in the box. I think it's just keep possession.
Every pass being applauded by Ipswich. Have they got one more goal left in them, perhaps? Pericard lost his way. Ipswich really are on a run. Just that one blip when they lost to Nottingham Forest here. Crazy old game that was. They were 2 up as well. It's 4-3. Apart from that, things have been going their way lately. Passes galore. As we enter 2 minutes of added on time. Westlake. Armstrong was waiting, but it's turned away by Fox. Quasi. Todorov. Sherwood. Harper. Portsmouth looking to enter the land of consolation, but Ipswich working right to the end to shut them out. Although maybe a chance here with Gary O'Neill. Chris Makin blocks his route. Kevin Harper, and look who's got back to sort him out. It was Kinyago. Fox.
I don't think I've seen so many passes in this last 10 minutes without anybody really having a shot.
Yes, we talk about teams seeing it out. Ipswich have been seeing it out big time today. It is all over. And Reading, Nottingham Forest and Wolverhampton Wanderers beware. Joe Royle and Ipswich might just be coming to get you. Excellent in the first half, efficient in the second half. Ipswich are closing in on the playoff path. As for Portsmouth, well, their fans were going to have a party whatever happened here today, already promoted to the Premiership. Ipswich, well, they might just have started a party here. With stunning strikes from Royce, Tommy Miller and Cunyago. They did all their work in the first half. Well, Portsmouth are saying bye-bye to the nationwide. I wonder if Ipswich Town might be soon as well. A pulsating performance in the first 45 minutes, and they look like they might just be in the thick of it come the end of the season in the playoff scenario. Ipswich fans couldn't have asked for more than this. Good Friday, a very good Friday for them, and the long Good Friday for Portsmouth. It finishes at Portman Road. Ipswich Town 3, Portsmouth 0.
Thanks Ian, thanks Chris. The team of the season humbled by rampant Ipswich Town. And look at the table, how things have closed up. A point off the playoff place is Ipswich Town now, just a point behind Wolverhampton Wanderers, who play Millwall tomorrow. And at the top end, Portsmouth stayed top, but the title now is within Leicester's grasp. First things first, they want promotion, they play Brighton, but now Portsmouth can only get 98 points. Leicester can reach 99 points. It's very, very interesting still at the top of Division 1. And coming up next, part 2. Reading against Nottingham Forest follows on Sky Sports 1 next. And on Monday, 2 more games. At noon, Sheffield United against Leicester City, Sky Sports 1. Monday, 5:30, Norwich against Wolves. 2 great games, also on Sky Sports 1. Well, the chimes are ringing out still, and they're going up, but that was quite a shock for Portsmouth. Ipswich took them apart in the first half, and they're now looking forward to a place in the playoffs. It was Ole football from Ipswich Town, and fittingly a Spaniard scored the 3rd goal. Ipswich 3, Portsmouth 0.
Bank Holiday Monday at 2:30 with Premiership Plus on Sky Box Office. It's Chelsea v Everton. Sky Sports subscribers can order this game now for just £5. See Channel 433 or call 08705 160 160. Premiership Plus with Scottish Life.
At PC World, we're stamping down on prices this Easter. Like this Packard Bell iGo Plus laptop with the latest mobile Intel Pentium 4M processor for super-fast laptop performance. Plus a CD rewriter and DVD player for photos, movies, music and more. Plus massive 32MB graphics power, just great for gaming, and all for a sensationally low $999 at PC World now.
PC World. But Uncle James, Mummy said to take me to the hairdressers.
Ah, where's the money? I'll have a bash myself.
I'm back. Hello there.
Hi.
What happened?
Terrible hairdresser. Leave it to me. I'm just waiting for the manager to get back, and then, whoa, is he in trouble?
Look, some idiot's cut my niece's hair. Yes, please. There's one other thing I need you to do, though. Okay, let me explain.
I know this haircut has nothing to do with you, but my sister is watching outside, and I want her to think that you did it. So you sort out this terrible mess for me, and I will pay you double, okay? You're very, very nice people. Thank you.
When I look at Steve and Jenny, I just think, wow. Now there's a guy who shouldn't be getting married. You should have seen him a week ago at his bachelor party. There was dancers all around him, and he was crying, I don't want to get married, I don't want to get married. And I'm like, shut up, man, she's loaded. Because that's what's important, you know, that love.
Polycel's new base coat for cracked, patchy walls. For a really smooth finish, it's the perfect start. Polycel, it only takes 2 ticks.
Grand Canyon, crack in the ground, very old. Hoover Dam, big wall, lots of water. Las Vegas, there it goes. And that's lunchtime.
Got the urge for a new Burger King Tex-Mex Whopper with pepper jack cheese, jalapeno peppers, and barbecue salsa for only $1.99? Got the urge? Get to Burger King.
You look. You stare. You hold your breath. Your pulse races. Is it the clarity? Is it the performance? Is it the sleek design? Flat panel television by Samsung. It's digital temptation, and everyone's invited.
The Amp. We just play good music.
The Football League on Sky Sports, sponsored by Sky Bet.
Well, it was the scene of their first 3-goal defeat of the season for Portsmouth, but the party goes on for the Pompey fans awaiting their exit from Portman Road. They're happy enough. They're in the Premiership next season, but that was a humbling experience for the players. Ipswich 3, Portsmouth 0, and it tightens up the top of the table tremendously. With me is George Burley. No surprise to you, George, that performance, was it?
No, I mean, Ipswich are a quality side. They did everything first half, played great football, passed it well, created chances, got 3 very good goals. In second half, they did enough. You know, as Chris Kamara said, you know, it was a good performance second half. They kept it solid and won it, you know, ran out worthy winners. Many people believe if Ipswich get in the playoffs, they'll be favourites to go up. Would you, that performance, would you go along with that? I would go along with that. When I look at the personnel and the squad they've got and the players, I honestly believe that they've got the strongest team in the first division. You know, but they've put a great run together of late. When you look at the remaining fixtures, it's not maybe the most difficult. So I firmly believe that they'll get in the playoffs, and then I would make them favourites. If there's a blessing in disguise for Portsmouth, is it that Milan Mandaric might now realise they have to strengthen considerably for the Premiership? I think so. I mean, Harry Redknapp and Jim Smith have done an absolutely magnificent job getting them promoted, you know. But when you look at the squad and the team, you think, well, they might have to bring in a number of players because they're going to be playing against quality sides week in and week out. And you've seen today, you know, okay, they weren't at their best, but man for man, you know, Ipswich were well in top. So I'm sure that they'll be planning ahead, but you can't take away from what Portsmouth have done this season. They've done tremendously well. Absolutely right. Well, Pablo Cunyago is the man of the match. He's with his skipper, Matt Holland, and they're both with David Craig.
Pablo, a stunning goal to crown a stunning performance by Ipswich.
Yeah, it's very important, 3 points today, because now it's only 1 point to the playoff. And we need to play always again, same today.
Your goals are proving crucial and could force Ipswich into the playoffs.
The more important is the 3 points. The goal is a good goal, but important is won the 3 points, and now we're ready for the Monday.
Do the boys feel he can do it now? Have you got the playoffs in your sights?
Yeah, the playoffs is more near now, and we need to play same today.
Matt, it was a stunning performance by Ipswich today, a good all-round team performance.
I think that was the secret, really. I mean, everyone was on top of the game. Like Pablo said, it was important we got 3 points today. It keeps us in the playoff hunt, and hopefully with 3 games to go we can still force our way into the playoffs.
Reading and Wolves will be looking anxiously over their shoulders.
Yeah, sure. I mean, it's in our hands. I mean, all we've got to do is win 3 games, and then it puts pressure on the teams above us. You know, they're playing each other. Wolves play Norwich, Reading play Forest tonight, so they're not all going to win points and not all going to take maximum points. So it's important that we do.
Could be interesting going to Derby at the end of the season. You might have to get a victory against your old boss.
Yeah, that's right. Obviously, it could be extremely ironic, really, that we could be playing George Burley and the last game of the season to get into the playoffs. But the most important thing is concentrating on what we do, and 9 points is what we're aiming for now.
Well, it was an excellent performance, and Pablo's the man of the match. Pablo, well done. Excellent.
Thank you very much.
Pablo, well done.
Nationwide man of the match.
Well done.
Thank you.
Well, Matt Holland said it. That could be some game.
Yeah, I mean, whatever. I mean, Ipswich, you know, they're looking as if now, I feel, can get in the top 6. The performance today was excellent. Very pleased for Pablo. You know, when you come from a different country, when you're young, it takes time to settle. But the boy, as I say, he's only going to get better and better. He's got great quality, and now he's finding the net on a regular basis. You can see that he's looking to shoot. He's got tremendous power. And as I said, when he gets the ball to his feet around the box, you know, he's second to none. You know, he laid on a great opportunity then. You can see again, he's using his body, he's spun here, and, you know, and he likes to run at people. And once he gets half a yard on his right foot, he's got tremendous power. And that is a great finish.
That was past Shaka Hislop before the keeper had put his hands up.
It's sheer power. You can see in the training ground, you know, he can really, you know, his timing's excellent, and when he does hit the target, it flies in. So very pleased for him.
And Martin Royster got the whole thing rolling for Ipswich Town, didn't he, early on with that first goal?
Yeah, it's important to get your noses in front, and once they did get the first goal, there was no looking back. But Martin Royster's been in and out the side, and he's another player that can score goals. He's scored, you know, a lot of good goals since we got him from Holland, you know, even in the Premiership. But now, when he's bang on form, you know, he's a very exciting winger. He loves to come inside and try a pot at goals. But you can see here, he only had one thing in his mind. He's going to take it on. He's going to, you know, have a shot at goals. And the ball moved quite a lot. You might sort of say the keeper might have done better, but the ball's moving a lot because of the power of the shot.
And Tommy Miller with the second goal. Fine young player. Come back to Ipswich after being there on schoolboy forms, wasn't he?
Tommy's an excellent player. Unfortunately, since he's been to Ipswich, there's been a number of injuries. You know, he's been stop and start.
Lovely passing move, this.
Yeah, that's it. Ipswich, you know, all through they've been brought up getting the ball and passing it, and you can see the habits of it. You know, and Jim Magilton was magnificent, I thought, today. And another thing, Matt Richards, 18. You know, I gave him his debut in Europe when he was 17, and he's going to be another great prospect.
Took your record away.
He did, actually, but he deserved it. He did very well, you know, in the reserves, and he got his opportunity. But you can see Tommy Miller, this is his forte, back in the play-up, and he's got great feet around the box, and he's finished it off very well. Nice ball there for Matt Richards, and Tommy's followed it in.
And the second half of the game was virtually just closed out by Ipswich, wasn't it? They were that good.
Game was finished, but they were solid as a rock. You know, the back four, the midfield kept working as a unit. You know, they didn't do anything silly. You know, there's a big game coming up on Monday, so it was important that they were just solid. But overall, tremendous performance. You know, 10 out of 10.
Well, from the former Ipswich manager to the present one, Joe Royle, and he's with David Craig now.
Well, Joe, that's a win and a performance that'll have other clubs looking very much over their shoulders.
Yeah, we can play. We've got 3 left. Different kinds of challenges starting on Monday, but we played exceptionally well today. People will talk about Portsmouth having been already promoted, but it was what we did that counted, and we took our chances. And I thought they had one real opportunity in 90 minutes, and to limit them to that is fantastic defending.
Your side worked hard all over the pitch, contained Portsmouth, and basically effectively the game over in the first 30 minutes.
The midfield 4 were truly outstanding, sometimes against 5, which they have loads of bodies in there, but the midfield 4 right the way through were excellent, and we scored the goals at the right time, which helped, because we played that well down at Portsmouth against them and didn't score, so it's nice to get the goals, and we're in a good vein at the moment.
Pablo got the nationwide man of the match. His goals have proved crucial this year, haven't they?
Yes, he's got 19, I think, now, and we missed him for 4 games through suspension, through a nothing foul, really. I mean, it was a silly one, flicking a hand out, petulant rather than anything, but who knows if he'd have been fit for those 4 games. But the lad's coming to terms with English football all the time.
Just finally, are you going to make the playoffs?
Well, we hope so. I mean, all we can do is win our games. If we win our remaining 3, I would think we'd have a great chance, but they're hard games, believe me.
Joe, well done.
Cheers.
Well, we'll show you those games in a second, but let's have a look at the table first of all and see how that looks at the top of Division 1. George, it's very tight, isn't it? Just a point away now. It's possible now.
Yeah, very much so. I think today was crucial that Ipswich won. They got the 3 points. They're looking at 3 games left, and I'm sure Ipswich will look at them and think, well, yeah, fancy, you know, maximum points. But it's very tight. But it was important that Ipswich won today.
Norwich as well still have a chance of breaking into the party, don't they? We shall see. Harry Redknapp is already in the Premiership. Portsmouth are up despite their loss today, and Harry is now with David Craig.
Harry, that's not a Portsmouth performance you'll be particularly happy about.
No, we didn't play well today. That's the worst we've been, I would think, all season. But it was always going to be a difficult day, and they're a good side. Make no mistakes about it. They're a good side. In this division, they're an excellent footballing team. You know, they've got the good movement up front, off the front too. They can play. And we were a bit all over the place today, first half especially. We never really threatened them. You know, as I say, I knew it would be a difficult day on the back of what happened this week, but that's not an excuse. They were better than us today.
Obviously, the game effectively over in half an hour, and it makes it difficult for you to come back.
Yeah, once you go 3 down, you know, I think I can't remember too many times this season we've failed to score a goal, but we normally score and make a game. But no, I couldn't see a goal coming today, and in the end, it was really damage limitations once they went 3-0 up. You know, we stuck at it second half, but never looked like getting back into the game.
Harry, unlucky.
Okay, thanks ever so much.
So the remaining fixtures for both teams: Ipswich, George, Rotherham, Wimbledon and your own Derby County. Well, we've talked enough about Derby County. I mean, you'll do your best to win the game. We know that's what English football is all about. But Ipswich, you know, can they win all 3 games?
Yeah, I mean, we've seen today, they're a very good side. On their day, they could beat anybody in this division. And when they look at those 3 games, I'm sure that they'll be looking for maximum points. And if they do play like today, they're going to take a bit of stopping.
And does the title matter to Portsmouth?
Well, I'm sure it matters, but the key is promotion. You know, whether you're first or second, at the end of the day, it doesn't really matter, I don't think. Portsmouth have got promoted, magnificent well. The ice and the cake would be the championship, but they did the main thing that they set out to be, and that was promotion.
Okay, plenty still to come on Sky Sports. The next instalment is not very far away. It's 4th against 5th in Division 1, right next on Sky Sports 1. Tomorrow at noon, Scottish Cup semi-final, Rangers against Motherwell, Sky Sports 1. Tomorrow at 3 o'clock, the second test match, West Indies against Australia. The Aussies 1-up on Sky Sports 2. And tomorrow at 1 o'clock, the Portuguese Open Golf on Sky Sports 3. Tomorrow at noon, ATP Tennis, the semi-finals, the Masters Series from Monte Carlo on Sky Sports Extra. George, thanks for your company. Enjoyed it very much, and we've enjoyed a good game, haven't we, really?
Smashing game.
Thanks very much for coming in. And next up, well, we're at the Medeski Stadium for part 2 of our Football League doubleheader. Paul Hart, Alan Pardew having a little chat before the game. Going head-to-head very shortly at the Medeski Stadium. Stay with us for that. Coming right back to it.